Hi everyone, welcome back to the Vibrant Life Show here in Cloud Dojo. I'm Corey and this is your spot for inspiration on living a healthy, happy, and vibrant life. And today we are talking about teenagers. I was one of those parents who was pretty thrown off by the shift in the way that my teen responded to me, seemed to feel about me, from being really gentle and understanding to seeming to not understand me at all when I would set boundaries or ask for something and would have meltdowns. So, respecting the privacy of my teen, I just want to say if you're in that phase where your teen is really reacting in ways that you are surprised by, I understand and I've been there. And we've actually been able to turn things around through just simply understanding what she's going through and having open conversations about it with her and kind of making plans together. So the truth is that she's really going through it harder than I am. She is dealing with a complete restructuring of her brain. And this actually is going to be so incredibly beneficial if we can take advantage of this time and really accept it, embrace it, and get through it together. So one thing is I really did a lot of research about what's going on in her brain right now. I looked into what neurologists say about the teenage brain. There's actually some really interesting studies over just the last 15 years about how the teenage brain develops and what it needs. I also looked, because my background is kind of studying human culture, I looked into accounts of teenagerhood in different indigenous cultures around the world. Then I was able to take those meltdowns really differently. So first thing is we scheduled a time to just have a quiet talk with our daughter, away from any triggers, made a nice snack, just got together, no distractions, and first just really listened. Asked, I noticed these few things have been happening, like in a as little judgment as possible kind of way. Like, I noticed that you seemed upset the other day about this, and I noticed that that's kind of happened more than it used to, and I want to know how you're feeling and what this experience is like for you, because it's new, right? And it's different. What's going on from your perspective? And with that openness, and also because this is a habit we've built over the years when things have been going on, so she has tools in place to be able to talk about her feelings and what's going on. So it's a little bit different if that's new. You may have to kind of prompt more and say, have you been feeling this or that, or what's that experience like, actually in your body? What are you feeling? What goes through your mind? So maybe more prompting. But so she kind of told us, this is really scary for me. Like, I'll have these, impulsive feelings or reactions, and they come out of nowhere, and I don't know what to do, and it's really overwhelming. And, so we just spent time really listening to her and hearing what was going on with her. And then the second thing is I was able to share some of that research in a way that made sense to her. So kind of some bite-sized chunks, basically saying, hey, I'm imagining she's here, that's why I keep looking here. Basically able to say, like, listen, your brain is actually doing something really cool right now. And it has done something really cool up until this point, which is to create a really awesome network of, I call them like the neurons building blocks and then the neural pathways bridges. So you've kind of taken all these neurons, all these building blocks, and made all these cool bridges, all these amazing pathways of ways to think and get your mind from one place to another so that you can make decisions, so that you can do awesome stuff in the world. And as a kid, you built an amazing brain. That was so awesome. You are such an amazing person. And I kind of would share some of the things that I really found special about her and the way that she thinks, and specific examples of how she handled situations as a kid. And then I said, listen, your brain knows that you're going to become an adult. And yes, it can be scary to think about that, but it's also going to be really cool that you're going to build a brain now that can handle all sorts of things in life, like Like, this brain is going to be able to help you achieve your dreams and your goals. And so we talked about some of the things that she dreams about for her adult life and some of the goals that she has over the next like 10 years. Just let her kind of explore and dream, didn't shoot anything down, and said, your brain is going to help you navigate that, figure that out, and accomplish some of these things. But in the meantime, while your brain is transitioning from what really worked well in childhood to what's going to work well and serve you as an adult, there's got to be some restructuring. There's a whole bunch of new chemicals coming in, this sort of soup of hormones that's going to be flooding your brain, and they're all here to help you, but at first it's going to feel overwhelming and confusing at times. Plus, the emotional, the limbic part of your brain is like very well developed, and it's just starting to connect to this front part of your brain, which is really not fully developed at all. And it's going to help you reason, think things through as an adult, logic, make plans. But right now, it's like you might feel emotions, and then this executive part of your brain that takes action is starting to come into line. So you've got emotions coming into actions before there's a plan and things are really thought through. That's why it feels so overwhelming. That's why sometimes you take really big offense at something I said when I didn't mean it that way. But it's understandable that your brain's sort of coming up to this new turning point in life that's unfamiliar, and you don't even have your old pathway that you used to have because it's being rebuilt. It's being built in a new, different, and ultimately better way. So actually, this is the time that if you and I work together, we can really take advantage of this growth to help structure your brain so that it supports your goals. So then we went back to those goals and we talked about what type of habits she wants to have as an adult to support those goals in her life. So from there, we have this list of habits and we just start working through them step by step. So, we start in that first conversation with one habit that she might want to work on that she can start now. Like, now is a really critical time. We emphasize that. So right now, how does this habit look in your life? As an adult, it might look like this, but right now it might look like, and then we can give some examples. So let's say, are you getting more upset more quickly when someone makes a comment that might feel like you take it personally, whereas when you were younger, you didn't even think about it that much. So first, I look at the positive of that. For example, my daughter was someone who actually, as a child, mostly didn't think about herself and thought of other people. And it really is important, So I said this to her, like, you have been someone throughout childhood who almost thought too much of others before yourself. Now is a chance to think about yourself. You're naturally, your mind is drawing you towards thinking about yourself, which is going to be a good balance for you. We just don't want it to go so far in the other direction. So when you're getting offended, right, you're thinking you're jumping to an immediate conclusion about what that person was trying to say about you. And instead, it is important to recognize, hey, it's great to be thinking about myself and what were they saying about me? But it's also important to stop and question where the other person might be coming from. And so we would, talk about, is this really a habit that's going to serve you in your adult life? Do you want to build this habit? Are you motivated? And we talk about what does it look like if I'm an adult who gets really easily offended by other people and I don't stop to consider their feelings? She doesn't want that, right? So then we kind of go to a specific scenario that happened and say, well, how would you want to do that differently in your life right now to build towards that habit as an adult? And have her really walk through what she wants to see from herself now. And then there's little tricks, little mantras she can say to herself, little when you feel, where do you feel it in your body? Oh, you feel your shoulders tense up? Okay, when you feel your shoulders tense up, that's your signal to just stop and take a breath. A lot of this is about breathing. A lot of this, the little micro tricks and tips that we teach her are about coming back to centered space in her body and noticing her breath. And then from there, you can make all sorts of decisions because you've come back to being grounded and centered. So we really just worked on those habits of when you feel this, you come back to center, and then you try to make a decision in this direction towards whatever habit. And we set up lots of check-ins, lots of kind of meetings with her to help her plan out how she wants to shape her brain right now during this critical time. And when it's really hard in the moment, I have my own habits that I work on to center myself and come back to the breath and understand, this is part of a process that's really helping to shape my child. So my actions and my role modeling are equally as important here to help my child be the person that she wants to be and that I want to support. So yeah, that's kind of what we do in a nutshell, or how we've been handling this crazy time of childhood to adulthood transition, and hope that you found something inspirational and helpful today. Here is wishing you a healthy, happy, and vibrant week ahead, and I'll see you next time in Cloud Dojo. Bye.